Well, thank you first for welcoming me to the NTS conference. Yes, the conference is very useful because it is about the perspective. I work in areas of conflict, violent conflict. NTS is different because NTS is the roots of the conflict. So what attracted me in this conference is to be able to explore not the conflict per se, but the various elements in that very complex system that makes those conflicts possible. So I'm glad that we had this conference, that you organized this conference. What I also learned, which maybe many specialists do not appreciate, is that before we can talk about climate change and strategy, we need to understand the substance of the problem. And there's a lot of rhetoric about climate change all around the world, what has to be done and so on. But what was very clear in that conference is that the people who understand nature of each problem, air, food, water, for example, were there together within the same space to discuss about the significance of this problem. And within that respect, that conference is very useful. Non-traditional security is an element, part of a very complex system. As the keynote speaker at this conference yesterday mentioned, Nolan Kersey, that this is about philosophy. It is not about just, pragmatic approach to everything. When we think about philosophy, we need to take a global approach to a problem which is beyond the human. So for me, climate change is about the human in a context of the non-human, which is something that the keynote speaker addressed very well. So when we look at this very complex environment, we are not looking just at one specific item, such as water or food. We are looking at the relationships, like on a network basis, between a multitude of elements, each of these elements being part of a node. And I think what's really significant at this point is to realize that whatever decision we make that may influence one element within a node somewhere will actually have an impact on the entire system. And I think until now we've worked too hard in trying to resolve the elements, each element, without appreciating that it's a much bigger picture. It's like looking at it through a lens, a camera lens, where instead of focusing on the problem, we actually take a wide-angle view of the entire system. And that's where the difference is in my mind. And once again, it is very much about philosophy. It is about biology, not just human biology, but system biology. In fact, in complex system theory, we call this the ecology. And within this ecology, we have all those moving nodes and elements.
Then, what suggestions do you have, for our consortium to move forward?
Well, I think what you're doing is very good, because what I witnessed in this 2 days conference is the establishment of networks. And I think networks is essential in this paradigm, because it is about getting people working together, using lateral thinking of it philosophically, creatively, innovatively, so that we can have the technology on one side, working with the social on the other. And I think, once again, it is something that is coming very clearly in that conference, that I noticed in many conferences I attended previously was not actually a key determinant. Here, what I witnessed is a merging of stakeholders with a very strong technological background, experts, but also social scientists there, like Professor Ahmed, who made an excellent presentation in involving, some of these elements of social science. So to me, where it is important, if we want to move forward, is to understand that both the technos, that is the technological, and the social that is a socio, are indivisible in our era, in our new age. It's like entering a quantum space. Where NTS can contribute even greatly to that space is to continue in the same direction, but also always remembering that we are now moving into a new era, and we don't even know what will happen in this era. I mean, we are seeking quantum computer, for example. The entire world is looking at it. What I'm interested is the socio, that is the ethics, so that not so much us, but our children and grandchildren, 20, 50 years from now, will use the techno, understanding the socio. That is how, from an ethical perspective, this technology is going to impact on society. And that is something which we have not been able to achieve until now. And I believe something that is cause of the current problem. And that's where NTS has so much work to do. But it's a great work, it's a great opportunity. And I think NTS is actually equipped to face this challenge.